Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, hello. I have a half costume on right now, waiting to put on the full one. Shaban, Lucas, Brandon, Michael. Let's see if anybody else is coming on. This is my half costume. I haven't put on the full costume yet. Just letting everybody in. Everybody's just creeping in here. Just wait a couple of minutes to start. Brandon. Get started in a few minutes. People. All right, people. It's like a little bit after 12. How are we all doing? Awesome. Am I the only loser that decided to dress up with a costume? It looks like it. It's a half
Hey,
costume.
Louis, I have to admit, when you sent that in the email, I really thought you meant dress up like fancy, like if we were going to do the election live. And I was
Oh,
like,
geez.
why would we do that?
What is
And
this
I
clock
regret
talking
not getting
about? No, I'm glad. Well, I'm glad that you didn't take me up on that. If you misunderstood that, I think somebody else actually emailed me earlier in the week. There we go. Olivia's getting the costume on. But somebody else mentioned it earlier in the week. They're like, "What did you mean by dress up?" I'm like, "Because it's like Halloween. Like, put on a mask or something, or we've all been wearing masks lately anyway. But I mean, like an actual Halloween mask."
Yes, Olivia, I love it. You're so cute. It's a cat.
Cat or a mouse? Cat, I guess. Yeah. You're on mute, Olivia. I can't hear you.
I know.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm just agreeing. Yeah. Cat or mouse.
I agree. No, that's awesome. Here, I'll put on mine for a second because it's really hot. That's my outfit. I didn't want to come on with it because I thought I'd freak you all out. But that's kind of what I'm wearing. So it feels a lot more comfortable like this. Creepy clown. So Samantha's a foodie, it looks like. She's gone as a foodie. Okay, we will get started. I'll remove this. I don't think I'm gonna wear this like, I think I might dress up as like an 80s character. Like this is just like a clown mask I had from like a while ago that I decided I was gonna slap on just to kind of get into the spirit a little bit. But how are we all doing? Are we all doing good? Kind of getting through the semester, rolling through slowly but surely. Okay. I won't be too long with you today, but I do want to obviously talk about the Tuesday's assignment. I'm sure you will probably have some questions for me, but we'll just talk a little bit about it. I'm going to take you through the actual assignment, which is in my Canvas, and I will, and then I have a little deck that I wanted to show you on just how to cover this thing and what's going to happen. Going to be pretty intense to cover this. I'm not going to lie, as it has been in years past, but we'll discuss it, and hopefully I'll answer like all your questions, and we'll get going. I am recording this. I did remember, it was like the first thing I did when I got on. Like I got on, clown mask, record. Those are like the two things that I had to remember. So my work's done for the day. So are there any questions before we kind of get started? What I'm just going to do is roll you through the assignment outline for this Tuesday, and then we'll talk a little bit about just covering the actual live event, because it's obviously going to be different this year, right? We're not going to be going out and actually covering something. So good, I can start. Okay, awesome. So let me just pull it up quickly. I'll do a share screen in a second. Just let me make sure I have it. And this is in my Canvas under assignments, if you wanted to look at it, but I will pull it up now. And just let me do a share screen here. Hopefully you can all see it. Yes, desktop, of course. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. Stand by, okay? Can we all see that? Yes, multimedia production, live event, US federal election. Yes, all good? Okay. Because I can't, so the way I have it set up now, I can't see all of you. Like, I mean, obviously you can hear me, but I can't see all of you online right now, just because when you do a share screen on Zoom, it shortens the viewable people that are on. So if you have a question or something, don't be afraid to just unmute and say, Louis, even if it's got to be like a couple of times, right? Like, don't be afraid to kind of grab my attention, because I can't see everybody that's on right now, okay? So Tuesday, November 3rd, okay, all tweets and the story are due at 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, November the 3rd, okay? That's the night of the US federal election. You guys have heard of that, right? Joe Biden, that guy, is the president of the United States. He wants to be president again, right? We all know that? Okay. So he's, the two of them are running against each other. And I basically want you to cover the election. All tweets and the story are due at 11:59 p.m. Tuesday, November 3rd. This is a biggie, 20% of your final mark. You do have to have a Twitter account for this assignment. If you don't have one, obviously set yourself up with one, and go from there. So I'll just start reading. Working alone or with a classmate, you will cover the US federal election on the evening of Tuesday, November the 3rd. Please let me know via email if you are working with someone. I would highly, highly, highly recommend, but not required, but I would highly recommend that you work with someone for this assignment if you can, okay? Takes a little bit of the edge off. You can divvy up the work a little bit, and I think it'll be less intense if you work with someone. But having said that, you don't have to, and it can be done on your own, no problem, okay? But let me know by email if you are working with someone and who that someone is. Pick a place to watch the election coverage, okay? Most likely your home. And live tweet the information as you're watching all the networks covering the results. So your tweets should include a diverse range of TV networks, CNN, NBC, CBC, and CTV, okay? Those are just some that I named out. I don't know what your cable is like. I don't know if you're gonna be live streaming it. I don't know what networks you have access to, but just try to keep it diverse in terms of like not just one network, okay? Like I said, tweets should include a diverse range of TV networks. Please make sure there is some Canadian content in your tweets, so CBC, CTV, and you must send out a minimum of 10 tweets, okay, as the night goes on, okay? That's the total whether you're working alone or with a partner, okay? So if you're working alone, 10 tweets, okay? If, say, Michael is working with Lucas, it's 10 tweets between the two of them, okay? So not 20. You understand? Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's 10 tweets whether you're working alone or with someone. The total has to equal 10. Okay, or more obviously, but minimum 10. Okay, I'm gonna send them to my Twitter account, which is Louis Oaktown. That way I can see them. So when you do get your Twitter account, if you don't have one already, please start following me. I'll follow you back, and we're all good there. Okay, at least half of the tweets have to include photos and or videos you took or recorded, okay? Could be a photo or a video of the actual TV set that you're watching or the laptop that you're watching. Could be, we'll discuss that after in the deck on what potential photo opportunities could be or video opportunities. Okay, consider hashtags and handles. We'll talk about that in a second too. The 10 or more tweets can be from one account or two, depending on how you choose to break up the work, right? So if it's just you working alone, obviously the 10 tweets are coming right from your account. If you're splitting up the work, it can be however you want to do it. 6 from yours, 3 from your partners, 6 and 4, 7 and 3, however you want to do it, okay? Spread the tweets out over the course of the evening, okay? I would suggest you kind of start around 8 and go until roughly the due date or the due time, okay? If you start earlier, awesome, okay? If you start, say, around 7, 7:15, 7:30, awesome, okay? If you end off, 11:30, 11:40, no problem. If you go a little bit later into, I guess, Wednesday morning, no problem as well, okay? In addition to this, you'll be required to write a minimum 200-word story on the results from the election, with at least 2 people quoted in your story. Now, again, you don't, just like the blogs, right? You don't have to go out and interview anybody, okay? But I'll have some suggestions in a second. So the story must tell me who won, unless it is too close to call, and what this means in the immediate future for the US or Canada, okay? The reason why I say unless it is too close to call is it's probably gonna be a close race, and we may not know by midnight who's won yet. They may have a projected winner, which is cool, but you may not know officially who's won yet, okay? Suggested people to quote, okay? The winner, Joe Biden or Donald Trump, you can literally, like, just in front of the TV, take some notes on what they're saying and work them into your story, okay? Various Democrats or Republicans, okay, being interviewed after the results are final, okay? Do we have a kind of an understanding of politics in the US? I'm not expecting you to be like, wizards and political scientists, but Democrats, Joe Biden, Republicans, Donald Trump, right? Very similar to Canada, right? Like Liberal, PC, right? We just have a few more parties in Canada. Canadian politicians being interviewed during or after the results, you can quote them, okay? For example, the result might come in and CTV might have something with Justin Trudeau. Or maybe Justin Trudeau will tweet something out that you can do, okay? But you need a minimum 2, okay? If you are covering the event at an establishment, I want to be very clear here. A, let me know, and B, I wouldn't recommend it, given the current situation that we're in. If you want to do it, I'm not going to stop you from going to cover something at a restaurant or a bar, because there will be places like establishments that would normally be, say, a sports bar and grill that would be showing the U.S. election. You can do that if you like. Just be mindful of the situation we're in, and restricting movements, and they want to restrict how often we spend outside and out and about in the community. So I would just highly recommend at your home or wherever you're living. Okay. Submit only one story, even if you're working with a partner. Okay. So I'll use Olivia and Sam are working together, one story between the two of you. Okay. Not two. Okay. Story shall be written and emailed to me by 11:59 p.m. on November 3rd. Okay. So that's like before midnight. Okay. On the evening of the election. Here's a breakdown of the marking. Okay. 5 marks for your story. Okay. Concise, newsworthy, lead, encompassing significant, interesting, and relevant content, good details, at least one source interviewed, tweets in on time, providing developing information, okay? Visuals, choice of photos, quality of photos in your tweets I'm talking about, okay? And finally, as always, spelling and grammar, okay? Does anybody have any questions with regards to that part? Yeah, Sam.
I was just wondering, I don't have cable or satellite, so I don't know how well I'm going to be able to reach a large array of coverage.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know how many CNN or NBC will do a live stream if you have to pay for their cable. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, and don't do that, obviously. I'm not worried about that, Sam. I know that you'll be smart about like where you're watching it, and if you are watching it on the computer, like CBC, obviously, will have content, and that's free, right? Because they're Canadian, and they're partially government. They're not partially government owned, but they're a crown corporation, so to speak. So you'll be able to access that content online. So I would just look to maybe stay home with CBC or CTV, and just kind of see on your laptop. Is it a laptop you're going to be using, or yeah? I would just look on your laptop to kind of see what's available, and just kind of take pictures, kind of screen grabs of what you're seeing, and maybe just even keep an eye on Twitter as well, and just kind of go through Twitter and see what people are reporting.
okay, could I do like the print screen button to like screen grab
Yeah,
the photo?
yeah, absolutely. That would work too. So yeah, I'm
Thank
not
you.
worried about that, and that's what I said at the beginning. If you don't, and maybe I'll put that in the email that I send up following today's meeting. Just if you don't have cable, like don't worry about it. Like I'm confident you'll find a way to cover this, and that seems to be one of the logical ways to do it, the way that you and I just discussed, Sam, which is kind of keeping an eye on streaming on CBC and CTV and what might be considered free. Okay.
I don't know if this is a stupid question or if you've said it before,
Never.
Also there's construction going on next door, so if you hear something and you can't, okay. So even though we're working in partners and the 10 tweets total or minimum, do you want it all on one Twitter account and you just tell me and I just tell you like, hey, I'm working with this person, so it's not back and forth?
You can either way, Olivia. Like if you're working with someone, you can have the 10 tweets all from your account and 0 from the other person, or it could be 8 and 2. It doesn't matter, as long as I'm seeing 10 from the 2 people working together or the 1 person working on their own.
Okay, great.
Okay. Anybody else? Once again, just holler because I can't see you all. So just say like I have a question. Yeah, Michael.
For the photos, do we have to take a picture of like from a cell phone or camera, like to show on the TV, or do we have to like find photos that are part of the tweet that we're gonna send?
So I would say the first thing. So what I would do is maybe take a picture of the screen that you're watching, right? And then include that photo in the tweet that you send out.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. And straight up to everybody here, you're all third years, you're all journalists. Like, I hate assigning it like this. Like, I'd prefer you be out there covering something, right? Telling you to take a picture of a screen breaks my heart because like I'm a journalist and like I want to be out there covering stuff too, right? But we have to work with the parameters that we're in, right? And, you know, I know some of you might be rolling your eyes at the whole, oh my God, he wants to take a picture of like a screen. But I have to make it so that you're meeting the learning outcomes of what the assignment is supposed to do for you. And that's one way to do it, right? Obviously, if this was a different year, and I know because I've assigned material similar to this in years past, you'd obviously be out there covering something, right? What I would tell you to do is go out to a bar or a restaurant or somewhere where the election is happening and cover it. There's been years where they've actually had like election parties at restaurants. So you basically come there, you know, you decide if you're Democrat or Republican, like it's really cool. And you go and cover that. So I prefer you to be doing that, but we're not in that environment right now, right? We're nowhere near going back to that again. So this is the alternative. Anybody else with questions?
Yes, question.
Yeah.
So for the tweets, are you like, do we have a certain amount of like a word count or like a certain amount of hashtags you want per thing, or like is there any like criteria, or is it just like what you think is like appropriate or like suitable?
Send whatever you want. No. We're going to talk about that in the deck that I have for you. But yeah, there is. It's not going to totally restrict you. Believe me. Like it's you know, I want you to be creative and use your news judgment in terms of what you're tweeting out. So I'm not restricting you too much. But yeah, there are some hashtag ideas that I have and such. Anybody else before we get into the deck? Don't be afraid to ask. Okay. So I'm going to go into the deck now, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And I'm sure you'll have questions after the deck. Okay, so this is the last thing that I'm showing you for today, but you know, I do want to save some time in the end for any questions. Okay. All right, let's just pull this up here. Oh, I got to do a share screen first because I forgot to do that. 1 second. Okay, everybody can see that? Covering a live event using social media? Okay. Oh, I wish it was like that again, with that picture, but it's not. Well, in the US it is in some places, but not here. So basically, here's just some tips. And this comes from tips of myself as a journalist covering live events like elections in years past. Just did one last year, the federal election, which was in October, I believe, of last year. So, wow, a year ago. So working with a good team, that's the first thing I wanted to mention, or in this case, a good partner. When just one person is frantically taking care of everything at a live event, things can easily slip through the cracks, answering questions from tweeters, posting video, photos, taking notes, etc. Okay, again, you can work on your own in this assignment. I'm not going to tell you you can't, but I would highly recommend working with someone. Working with someone you can trust who has a solid and reliable work ethic. Okay, this may not necessarily be a good friend, and have a plan in place on who will handle certain tasks. So again, you all have the benefit of this assignment being assigned in different formats in years past. What students have done in the past when they've worked together, John, you handle all the tweets. Jane, I'm going to write the story. Okay, or let's split up the tweets 5 and 5, and then we'll come together and write a story at the end. However you want to do it. That part is up to you if you decide to work with a partner, okay? But it will take a lot of the pressure off of you if you decide to work as a partner. For example, and I'm just going by the people I can see here, right? Let's just say Michael and Siobhan are working together, right? If Michael is handling all the tweets for the evening, right? So the 10 tweets, and Siobhan's job is just to compile some information and write a story at the end. You can see how that's a lot easier than if one person does both, right? Post pictures and video as things are happening, okay? One of the reasons you'll get awesome engagement during your live event coverage is by posting videos and photos in real time as they're happening. Don't wait until after the event to post all of your visuals. Okay, so don't send me like, the flurry of like 10 tweets at like, 11:48. Like keep them coming throughout the evening. Okay. And I will be looking at that. I'll be looking at how often you are tweeting, right? If you send like a barrage at like, 11:50, your mark isn't going to be as good as if, you're sending, you're kind of spacing out your tweets. Obviously, if there's news that happens, right, people like go ahead and tweet it, right? Let me ask, let me pause for a second here and let me ask the group and anybody just kind of like shout out. What would you consider during the event? We all know the big thing at the end, which is going to be who wins. But during the event, what would you consider to be kind of a breaking news or kind of an important development that you might want to tweet?
I would say, like, obviously, if I'm assuming the president will probably be very active on Twitter. So obviously, if you tweet something that's a little controversial or, something about you, I'm assuming, I honestly already have a bingo card if he tweets out fake news. If he tweets out the election is rigged because of mail-in ballots. So I would say
saying that if he's winning, I guarantee you, but yeah.
Yeah, and then I would say the other big thing would be in close races, if someone's projected to win and which news site or news station projects that person to win.
Yep, brilliant. And I don't see who's speaking right now. So who is that?
It was Kyle.
Okay, Kyle, that's great. And before I get to Michael, just let me add on what Kyle says. And I hope I'm not stealing your thunder, Michael. But the way it works in the U.S. is if you win certain states, it's really good for you, like big states. Like the big one is Florida, right? Like Florida, they said it yesterday on CNN. I think since 1964, only one person who has not won in Florida has gone on to become president. So every other year, like every other 4 years, when you win Florida, you're basically the president, right? So that would be a big one, right? Like if they declare who wins in Florida, that's a big thing to tweet out, right? Yes, Michael.
I kind of going to be saying the same thing as like the key battleground states like North Carolina, Florida, Ohio, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there will be like an announcement, but it depends on when the time zone is going to be.
Yeah. No, well done. So I did kind of steal your thunder, sort of. Sorry, but no, that's well said, right? Everybody got what Michael said? Yeah, like that, and he's right? Like anytime there's a major win in a certain state, like if Joe Biden wins in a certain state, or if Trump wins in a certain state. Now, do you have to do every state? No, because there's like 52. Like you're gonna drive yourself nuts. But I would say focus on the major states, right? Michael, help me out, right? Like what are some of the major battleground? You name some of them, but go ahead. Michigan.
Yeah, right? Michigan, Ohio. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio.
Florida.
Yeah, North Carolina.
Yeah, like those big ones. Sorry, go ahead, Olivia.
Texas, I was going to say that's
Yep, of course.
That's predominantly Republican.
Yeah, so those are big ones, right? So that's just an idea of like what you can live tweet as the evening is going on. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Somebody wanted to speak.
Sorry to interrupt. Jana says she's in the waiting room. She thought class started at 1.
Oh, okay. I'll let me just see here if I can quickly go in and let her in, and then we'll get back to it. Okay. Jana is coming in, and I'm going to go back to sharing the screen. And we'll get back to it. Hey, Jenna. Okay, we'll get back to it.
That's a dumbass. Sorry.
No problem. No worries. Love the costume. So live tweet using a trackable hashtag. Okay. One of the best ways to help viewers follow a live event is to allow them to follow a specific hashtag. Okay. Example: if you're covering a basketball game, okay, and at Mohawk, you'd want to use Mohawk. 1 second here. I just got the remaining time. So Mohawk basketball would be one that you would want to use if you're covering a basketball game. In the case of the November 3rd, let's come up with some hashtags to cover the election. Okay, here's a couple that I have. Okay, US election 2020, hashtag Canada, hashtag Hamilton or Hammont. Okay. If anybody else has any, you can just shout them out now. I'm, unless they're ridiculously inappropriate. Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Maybe hashtag Biden, hashtag
Yep.
Trump,
Awesome.
depending on who gets the state and gets the key battleground state. You put a hashtag.
Exactly. Okay. So there's some options there. And again, this whole deck will be in My Canvas. It is in My Canvas now under week 7. Okay. Be interesting. Share some behind the scenes action. Okay. Here's something that I did. This is just something very short while covering a court trial. Okay. Things happen in the evening. Okay. Something else to be mindful of, everybody, right? There are a lot of speculation, and I mean, it's probably going to be true, but there's going to be protests, right? If a certain candidate wins, there may be protests even if Biden wins, right? So you want to keep an eye on that too. Okay. Here's just something else. This is when I was covering an election 2 years ago. Okay, just something I tweeted out, like kind of like development, right? Like tell your reader that you're kind of in there covering it, and you're kind of giving them some insight, right? Okay, engage with your people. Okay, if people are asking you questions, reply to them. Okay, I may pop in and ask you some questions during the night. Okay. Reply, offering up maybe a thought-provoking question or an interesting development. Okay. Offer developments throughout the evening. Okay. Remember, okay, you're not only like awesome journalists, okay, but you're also awesome storytellers. Okay. So don't be afraid to offer up some developments. Okay. You should know me by now that, I mean, like I want you to kind of use your creativity and also use your news judgment to tell the story, okay, of what's happening. You can still take people on a journey. You can take your audience on a journey, and ask yourself with each tweet, what's new? How am I developing the story in the event here? Okay. Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to fix something here. Oh, okay. Okay. What you must have and what you must know. Okay. This will be a late night. Expect to be working till at least 11:30, probably later. Okay. You must have a news story on the election, results detailing the winner and the loser. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. Primary source, quotes from the winner and or the loser. Okay. Secondary sources, Canadian or US politicians. Again, all being watched from a TV screen, right? Minimum 10 tweets. Okay. At least half or must include photos or videos that you've taken. Okay. Some tips and pointers. Have an action plan. Okay, know how you plan to cover the event. You could record it. You can always record it using a recording device, using your phone, just in case you miss something. Okay, that's not a bad idea. Up to you. Okay. Polls close at different times in different states. Okay, we'll hopefully know by midnight who's going to be the winner, but we might not. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Familiarize yourself with the issues by reading up on recent debates. Okay, this will help you with your skeleton story. Okay. Again, if you don't know anything about politics or you're not good with politics, don't worry, right? Like you don't need to be like a political scientist to cover this thing, okay? And I won't be looking for anything like, in-depth, political information, right? Cover it as if you're covering a normal news story, right? It's an election. You got to cover who wins and who loses and stuff that happens in between. Okay, it's very simple, but also works. Okay, you can even have a skeleton story written before you cover the election. Can include what each candidate plans to do if they're elected. Okay, where you literally have like, kind of the body of your story already written out, and then you're just plugging in, winner, loser, and some quotes here and there. Okay, you should also include in your story, again, if possible, how many votes did the winner win by? Okay, we might not know by then, by midnight. Okay. your what if section. I'm going to spend some time on this. Just so you know, the Zoom meeting is just a little bit less than 5 minutes left. So I'm just going to try to finish this off and then we'll take some questions. Okay. So what if the race is too close to call and it's almost midnight? Okay. Some suggestions. You could write, it looked like your lead could be something like, it looks as though someone's going to win, or it appears as though this person's in the lead as of midnight. You could do that. Okay. You can talk about how the election is causing, if it is, protests and causing any uproar. You can talk about if anybody's projected a winner already. Okay. If you're not sure what the lead of your story is, okay, again, there's other options. You can cover the protests. You could cover, again, who's projecting to win the election or who a certain network is projecting to win. And what happens if you're just bloody tired? What happens if you start working in the evening and it's midnight and you're like, man, I can't take this anymore. Like, I just can't. And now he wants me to write a story. If that's the case, people, especially in this day and age, and especially with this pandemic, we're all about like someone's mental health and well-being. If you're tired, send me an email, say, Louis, like I cannot write a story right now. I'll get it to you in the morning. Okay. So it is a deadline of midnight, but if you can't get it done, just send me an email, say, can I get you the story in the morning? Okay. There's no harm or shame in doing that. Believe me. I know that this might be intense, so I want to leave that as an option for you. Okay. Finally, have some fun, okay, with this. Order some food, okay, cover it. I think I'm going to be ordering sushi. We'll see. But I'm going to be covering it too. God, please no selfies. Don't do it. Take a picture of your food before you take a picture of yourself, okay, please. You're all beautiful people, all wonderful. I like looking at your faces, but no selfies for the live event, okay? And keep my email handy, okay? I'm going to be covering it too. I'm working that night, so I'm going to be on Twitter as well. Don't be afraid to email me, okay? If you're stuck, if you're not sure what you want to do, if you're not sure what your lead is, okay? Don't be afraid to email me and say, hey, Louis, I'm in a bind. Like, what do I do? Okay? I whipped through the end there a little bit, and we have 2 minutes there. Sorry if I kind of went through that quickly, but it is available on my canvas. But you have 2 minutes if you have any questions you want to ask.
I have a question.
Sure.
So if you're replying to tweets, does that count as one of your 10, or is that just you replying? Like, is that separate?
Separate.
Okay.
So the tweets have to be yours. Okay. I see now that we have less than a minute, so I might literally be talking and we're going to lose each other. Okay. So yeah, sure.
Sorry. What about our personal opinions? You said in the slide, like, you don't want us to use your opinions, or like you do, or just facts?
You can offer opinions as long as they are backed by somebody saying something, then it's totally fine. Okay. As long as you kind of like the blogs, right? If we do get cut off here, people, I'm just going to keep talking, but if we do and you have questions, my email is available, right? So just email me if there's something you weren't clear on. And if I think it's a good question, I might respond to the group.
Really quick, Louis, do subtweeting or quote tweeting on top of, is that also acceptable?
That would be separate.
Okay.
So yeah, it'd be your tweets, but then if you want to do that as an add-on, you can do that, but that's an add-on. Okay, Kyle? Okay. Anybody else? Okay, sorry if I rushed that at the end, but good conversation. You guys are going to do awesome at this. I know it. But like I said, I'm around if you have any questions. Let me know if you're going to be working with someone. Yeah, I think that's it, everybody. Good luck. Happy eats and stay safe. And we will talk soon. Okay? We'll see y'all later.